Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Last time, we completed Catfish's Wall and acquired ourselves a beautiful hookshot, and also another instrument that I do not remember the name of because it's been a while since I recorded that footage. So, at the time of this recording, I am on the brink of finishing getting all the footage necessary for this game. I'm going to be recording the last two parts today, so things are looking up, and I can get on to prepping myself for the next one, for the next LP. But that's later. But anyway, with this part, now that we've completed the Catfish's Wall, got the hookshot, there are a few goodies we can acquire. Most notably, we can finally finish off this trading sequence now that we have the hookshot. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go down this way, as you're seeing on the screen right now. Avoid these jerks dropping all these bombs and whatnot. Shimmy along the side here. Oh, by the way, you can use the hookshot to stun enemies and stuff. I think I said that last part, but just to reiterate, it's pretty helpful. So now we can put that scale we got from that mermaid onto the statue of said mermaid. She's very conceited, that one. Now you're probably wondering what that weird sound effect was. You'll see in a moment. Now you have the magnifying lens. This will reveal many things you couldn't see before. And unfortunately, this has helped me realize something that I really wish I didn't have to tell my audience. Alright, well, for one, the magnifying glass allows you to see things you couldn't before. So we're gonna be seeing some things, or we're gonna be seeing some enemies, and NPCs that weren't there before. And we're gonna need that to finish off this training sequence. However, as I found out, with wrapping up my recordings, unfortunately, I hope you've been following this training sequence, because it's not as optional as you think it is. I think you only really technically need to get everything up to the bananas, and then you should be good from there. That's technically not true. For one, real quick, there's a Zora here. Apparently it's friendly, it doesn't want to hurt me. If you were to try to come into this house before, you wouldn't be able to see this guy. And once we interact with him, or her, I don't know what gender it is, you get a secret seashell. But, as I was getting at, unfortunately, this training sequence isn't as optional as you would like to think, because, just to give you a heads up, if you don't want to spend an outrageous amount of time trying to get through the final area of the game, the magnifying glass is going to be absolutely necessary. And believe me, like, it's going to take you forever to get through that final area, to get through the last part of this, the game, without having these magnifying things. So I guess, while we're all gathering stuff, I guess I should give you a rundown as to how to do this training sequence now. So, you start off with getting the Yoshi doll in the trendy game. You get it from completing the crane game. It's 10 coins. It's 10 coins per attempt. You bring it to the lady you bring it to the woman in the southmost building of Mabe Village. She will give you a ribbon. You will go to the smaller house right by where the chain chomp is, or as the owner calls it, Bow Wow. You go into the smaller hut, you give the ribbon to the smaller chain chomp, called Chow Chow. And then the Chow Chow will give you dog food, or canned food. Then you're gonna go to the Toronto Shores, the same area you started in when you began. Okay, not when you started, but where you acquired your sword. There's gonna be a house there surrounded by a bunch of bananas. You're gonna bring the canned food to that house, to the alligator inside, the alligator will give you bananas. Later on, when you're able to get to where Camelot Castle is, you bring the bananas to the monkey will make the bridge, or Kiki, I think that's what it's actually called, and it will leave you with a stick. A little ways to the right side of Mabe Village is Terran. He's right by a tree. You give him the stick, he pokes it, he gets chased by a bunch of bees. Bees, my god, lol. And you get the honeycomb. You will then bring this honeycomb. Okay, no. Once you get to Animal Village, there's gonna be a house with a bear inside. Hear me out. You give the honeycomb to the bear. The bear will give you a pineapple. And once you're on the mountain, once you're on Tai Tai Heights, when you're trying to get down to where the Angler's Tunnel is, you're gonna come across Papa. Papa will ask for some viddies. You're gonna give him the pineapple. He will give you something called a hibiscus. It's a flower decor. You will then go back to the animal village and go into one of the other houses where there's a bunny. You are going to give this hibiscus to the bunny. The bunny will give you a letter to give to Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright lives directly above the north exit or north entrance, whatever you want to call it, of the mysterious forest. You go inside the house, you give him the letter, he will give you a broom. You're going to go back to Mabe Village, you're going to go down to the south part of the town, and find this old lady next to a house where Uriah lives. The guy that gives you advice, who looks like Santa Claus. You give it to her, she will give you a fishing hook. Then you're gonna go to Martha's Bay and look for the tiny bridge in this southeast section. You're gonna swim underneath it. You talk to the guy, you give him the fish hook, he will fish out a necklace. You will give the necklace to the nearby mermaid. She will give you the scale. After you acquire the hook shot from the Catfish's Mall, you can put the scale on the statue, as I've just demonstrated earlier. You will then have the magnifying lens. So there you go. And as we just showed, the last trading item was right there. You go to that guy, you offer him an item, the shovel, and he will give you the boomerang. You have the boomerang in this game. And unlike the boomerang in Link to the Past, this thing actually does damage. And a decent amount of damage too. It one-shots dang near anything. And this is pretty useful, especially concerning the fact we haven't exactly got our awesome reward from the Seashell Mansion just yet. We'll be getting that soon enough, trust me. But the problem is, unfortunately, is that you actually are going to need that shovel. So what you need to do is you go back in there, hope that you have 300 rupees, because he will sell you back your shovel for 300. So do that just to get that out of the way, because you are going to need the shovel later, as I unfortunately had to find out. And there you have it. And again, you do not need the boomerang. It's cool to have, but you don't need it. What you do need is the magnifying lens. Unless, once again, you're okay with spending an ungodly amount of time in the final area of the game, which I'm going to make a safe bet that you don't want to do that. Just saying. But I'll explain what that means when we get to that part in the game. Right now, we're just exploring the rest of the island and acquiring whatever stuff we can obtain at this point. Although I do believe that might be the last of what we need. No, I think there's one more thing we could do. Yeah, there's a cave we can check out, and then after that we'll be done. Because we go here where the ghost was, we can actually lift off these rocks and go down here. You could have done this much earlier, but you didn't have the items to actually get the thing we're here for. Because you do need the hook shot in order to get this. So we're going to drop our bomb here. And hook shot our way over there. Get the heart piece, and we're good to go. No, I guess technically you don't need the hook shot if you can get a if you can get a correctly placed Pegasus boot jump, because you can push the one block to the right and you do have a little bit of leeway, but I didn't try it. If you can't do it, kudos. I didn't try it. But I believe that's our last item for this, so again, I just had to explain that trade sequence because I unfortunately had to find out that the last thing you needed, the magnifying lens was necessary for the last part of the game. But at this point, the only thing we got left is a bunch of new chamber dungeons we have access to. So I'm going to leave you off with that. You know how it is. So, in any case, next time on The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, oh, by the way, the sound went out because my capture device was being stupid. Don't worry about it. The sound will come back out momentarily. But anyways, next time on Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, we're going to be checking out those shrines that the owl mentioned much earlier in our a little earlier in our adventure that we didn't actually explore. So we're going to see what one of those shrines hold. So until then, I got a juice.
Good. Oh? Oh? Eh. Thank you.